What's going down, guys? It's your boy Carter J all day. And this is it, man. This is the fucking fight right here. This shit is going down. You know, I'm kind of pumped up about the Mayweather-Guerrero fight. I'm excited to see Nonito Donaire versus Rigondeaux. But those fights do not compare to this fight that's going down in April. This is a very interesting fight in a lot of different ways. You know, I studied both fighters. This is going to be a very, very competitive fight. You know, and the first thing that goes into mind in a lot of people, you know, a lot of people says that, you know, who has really, you know, Canelo Alvarez fought? And I agree to that to some extent. But I really don't look at a fighter at who he fought. I just compare about how he, you know, performs in the ring. Canelo Alvarez, you know, a lot of people shits on that dude, man. But I tell you guys what, that dude is very smart. I'm not even saying that based off what, you know, Shane Mosley said after the fight. I watched a lot of his fights. I watched how he fights. Canelo Alvarez, right off the bat, I want to say that one of his strongest strengths is that he goes to the body very well. A lot of times when he hits fighters to the body, they don't last very, very much long after. I mean, you could go back and look at, you know, the Josecito Lopez fight, and that'll be a prime example right there. I mean, there's tons of other fights too, but he goes to the body very well. That's very effective for the judges. That's one of his strongest strengths. He has devastating knockout power in both hands. I mean, he literally throws bombs when he punches, man. His best punch in his arsenal is the left hook. That's his, you know, bread and butter right there. You know what I'm saying? He throws very good combinations. And that's why he gets a lot of wins from scorecards. And when he does go to the scorecards, it's because the judges see how well and effectively he goes to the body, and, you know, how he does his combinations. When he does his combinations, it's usually like, you know, 5 hit, 6 hit, but it's very, very effective. He is a orthodox, and whereas, you know, Austin Trout is a very, you know, slick southpaw. I think this is a lot of people say that this is going to be, you know, a very big test for Canelo, because he's never really been, you know, tested by a very good natural 154-pounder that has a very good jab and is a southpaw. I mean, that's true, but also looking at Austin Trout, he hasn't really faced somebody that has, you know, a punching power that, you know, from somebody like Canelo, in my opinion, because and that's why, you know, I feel that this fight is very competitive in a lot of, you know, different ways. Austin Trout got very good footwork, whereas Canelo, I think actually Canelo's kind of flat-footed. That's just my opinion. Like I said, Austin Trout, he's a very slick, elusive southpaw. He knows where he's at all times in the ring. He's a little older than Canelo. Canelo is 22. Trout is 28, and I think both of them are in their prime. So age, I don't think is really an issue in this fight. The one thing about Austin Trout that I like very much, that a lot of fighters don't do very well, is that he protects his body very well. And the reason why that is because if you notice when he fights, he bends his waist, just like similar to Sergio Martinez. Sergio Martinez and Austin Trout has actually sparred before, in training camps and stuff like that. And a very unique thing about Austin Trout, he throws lots and lots of jabs, which is very, very effective because what he's trying to do when he's throwing all these jabs at you is that he's trying to take you off your mental game plan so Austin Trout could set up his game plan. The cool thing about Austin Trout is that he'll throw like a lot of very straight right jabs, and he'll follow it up with what it's called a stiff jab. Okay, if you guys don't know what a stiff jab is, I'm sure you guys heard it sometimes before. It's basically just like a power jab that's executed by the lead hand. What Austin Trout is trying to do when he's throwing this stiff jab is that he's pivoting his hip while straightening his rear leg, while as the wrist snaps out, and this allows for like a greater mass, greater volume, and it's just a more effective, more powerful jab. And I think this is Austin Trout's bread and butter punch right here. That, and he has pretty good uppercuts as well. Austin Trout is very good at controlling, a fighter from a distance. He keeps his opponents busy always because he's always moving and he's always throwing jabs. Now, if you notice, it's always more difficult to land a left hook against a southpaw rather than an orthodox fighter because a southpaw usually comes forward with their chin tucked. Whereas Austin Trout, like I said earlier, he bends at the waist and he's always protecting his body, just like I said. And what ends up happening is that the orthodox fighter usually lands, a left hook, in this case, which is Canelo, on the southpaw's shoulder or glove. And that's why they say the straight right hand is usually easier to land against an orthodox fighter. And that's why they say southpaws never look for left hooks. Fights that I previously watched with Austin Trout in them, a lot of fighters have a very, very hard time trying to land body shots on Austin Trout. And that's going to be a very interesting factor in this fight to see if Canelo could actually land body shots on Austin Trout. Going back and looking at Canelo's previous fights, a lot of people say that it's obviously the proof's in the pudding. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys and bullshit with you. Sugar Shane Mosley was way past his prime. He was too washed up. I was watching that fight. You could tell that it just wasn't his fight at all. And it wasn't in his fight. Those days are gone where Sugar Shane Mosley was in his prime against De La Hoya when he beat him twice and all that shit. Josecito Lopez got a very lucky win off Victor Ortiz. He had to come up 2 weight classes. And a lot of fighters before that, such as Hatton, Rhodes, and all those guys, they all also had to go up 2 weight classes as well. So, I'll be honest with you guys. The quality of opposition of opponents that he's faced is not the best. But like I said, this is going to be a very huge test for Canelo and Trout. Go back and look at the Trout Cotto fight. He was basically just outworking Cotto pretty much, and that's because Austin Trout was very effective at fighting on the back foot, which I think is another actually good strength that Austin Trout is effective. Be able to fight backwards while still landing a stiff jab is really, really good. I see this fight playing out two different ways. I see this fight either going to a late stoppage for Canelo, or I see it either going to the scorecards, and I see Austin Trout getting it by the scorecards, but it's going to be like very close, and I think it's going to be very slight. The way how I see it being stopped by Canelo is where Austin Trout, it's gonna be a close fight, pretty even fight from from the beginning of the fight all the way up to the beginning of the championship rounds. I think Canelo is going to capitalize in the championship rounds. He's going to land. He's going to back up Trout in the in the ropes when he's not expecting it, and he's going to land those combinations, and he could do some serious damage in the championship rounds. And I think that's might what get it, which could lead to a stoppage and very late. If it doesn't happen that way, I see it still being very close fight going to the scorecards, and I see Trout winning it very slightly. I could see a lot of pissed off fans already and shit, but that's how I see this fight playing out. If I had to really sit down and choose, I would have to choose Trout. Based on his defense, by the amount, because of all the jabs that he throws, and there's a lot of other things about Trout too. But I would have to slightly favor Trout. But like I said, guys, I think this is going to be a very close, competitive fight. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. I think this is going to be the best fight of the year. Two undefeated fighters. As far as Canelo, if he wins, I can't really tell you guys if he's going to land the Mayweather fight. I think Mayweather's really just trying to really take one fight at a time. He's not trying to rush things. I don't know if Floyd's going to move to 154 based on his last performance against Cotto. I think he's better, honestly, at 147. But honestly, I can't tell you that's true or not. So, I mean, whoever wins is going to be a better man, obviously, and whoever loses, I guarantee will still put on a hell of a performance. So this is going to be one hell of a fight, guys. I can't wait for it. I will do a post-fight video as always. Let me know what you guys think. Who you got this fight going to? How's it going to end and all that good shit. And that's about it, guys. I'll be on to the next video real soon. Peace.